Hello, everybody. Welcome to Half-Ass Pod. It's your boy Corn. I am me. WandaVision. Oh, WandaVision. So I want to talk to you all today about what some people are calling one of the smartest television shows on Disney+. What some people are calling a riveting experience and riveting performances by Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen. And while I do not disagree with that part of them having, I wouldn't say riveting, but Elizabeth Olsen is acting her butt off. She's acting her butt off in this show. Paul Bettany, same thing. He's showing a different element to his game of acting. However, the acting alone cannot save this show. The acting alone cannot save the MCU, period. We need good storytelling. I don't know what it is with these first 3 episodes of WandaVision. And I told Mark last week on our last episode of HAP about how I have to hold out. I have to hold out on my opinion on WandaVision because it's only the first 3 episodes, but they keep doing this stuff. Excuse me. Back when they had the first 2 episodes, I said, look, I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to see what episode 3 is like. Then we got episode 3 last week. Episode 3 was shit. I mean, it was dog shit. That episode was so bad that I actually, for a second, just for a second, I actually contemplated getting rid of my Disney Plus. Canceling my Disney Plus subscription because this show is so bad. Listen, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, I love it because it has the Easter eggs. Oh, I love it because it gives us a different element of the MCU. It gives us a different, a fresh of, what do you call it? Fresh breath of air or something like that? Or breath of fresh air. I'm fucking dumb. But anyways. Oh, it gives me a breath of fresh air. You know, the MCU gives you a different approach to it, blah, 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 whatever. Look. I understand that we're all depraved of Marvel content. We're all depraved of the MCU right now. But I've said it a million times before, and I'll say it a million times again if I have to. WandaVision is not the show to do it. WandaVision is not the show that you guys are going to deprive us for over a year, well over a year, almost 2 years at this point, of no new MCU content. And your first rollout is going to be WandaVision? You got to be kidding me. What about Black Widow? What about the Eternals? We forget about those because, oh yeah, that's right, they're waiting on the theatrical releases. As if it is going to, any of those movies are going to make $1 billion. Pre-COVID, absolutely, it would make $1 billion. But now with look, in 2021, no movie's making $1 billion. No movie is going to be making $1 billion in 2021. Guarantee it. If I'm wrong, if I'm proven wrong by the end of the year, then I'll be a man and admit it. But I'm calling it right now. No movie is going to make $1 billion. Not even close. I mean, we're starting to see the 007 running around, selling their movie to Netflix and trying to sell a movie to all these different streaming platforms. And people are lowballing. Netflix said, hey, we'll get you $200 million for it. They said, fuck no. So what do you do when you actually own your own streaming service and you own your own content? You're producing your own shit. Guess what, Disney? You release it on your streaming platform. You could be doing a lot better right now had you released Black Widow back in November on Disney+. You'd be doing a lot better had you released The Eternals back in, actually, scratch that, Black Widow should have been August, and then Eternals November. But now this is the shit you're giving us. This is what you're giving us when we've been depraved of the MCU for almost 2 years. Then, on top of that, the show sucks. This show is bad. I'm not going to sit there and let anyone try and tell me this show is good. I'm tired of these damn Easter eggs. I'm tired of sitting there trying to figure out, oh, well, is this all just a vision, or like her vision of what? Like, obviously we know that. We know it is her vision. Excuse me. But we do not need to see her vision for 3 episodes. Because if you really think about it, now we're an hour and a half into this show. We're an hour and a half into this story, and we have gotten nothing. We have gotten nothing. Now I want to touch on the element as well. This whole sitcom, comedy, little whatever thing kind of element doing. I get it. It's smart. See, if they would have done it with just the first episode, and I'll say maybe 2 if they would have done it right, but they didn't even do it right. If they would have done this whole stupid sitcom thing with 1 episode, that would have been fine. But now I feel like they're going to drag it out all into the end of the season, and then very last episode is when you're going to see what's really going on, and that's stupid. To me, that's a waste of time. Disney, you have 1 more episode. 1 more episode to try and pull me in. If you do not, I will be canceling my Disney Plus subscription on Friday. So you get 1 more chance, Disney. You get 1 more chance to let me in, because I know this. If I am unhappy, I know for a fact there is a lot of people that are unhappy with the way WandaVision is going right now. Now, I understand there's storytelling. There's different ways to do storytelling, blah, blah, whatever. But now this opens up the possibility of the MCU being tarnished. The MCU being completely tarnished. That's not what we want. That's not what I want. Just because I know that the MCU will fail at some point in terms of keeping their hardcore fans and keeping their tried and trues. It's okay to go out and explore and try and get more fans and get people from that are not. But you still have to, at the end of the day, you still have to please those fans. I don't care if you don't stick to the comics. I don't care if you create something original. I actually prefer to you create something original. I prefer to be surprised in some of these stories in the MCU. But I felt like I felt like after Endgame, I had this empty feeling. Like I was like, man, I'm not really looking forward to Far From Home, and I thank God I wasn't really looking forward to that movie, because when I went and saw it, I was very disappointed. But it's almost like a lot of people are holding out hope for what? For what? Now think about it. We got the comedy aspect with Ant-Man. We got a little bit of comedy aspect with Thor. Although I definitely prefer Ant-Man in that comedic role than Thor. It's still, at the end of the day, they still had their moments. You know what I mean? Where you're like, oh man, this character's so cool. Oh man, this character is fun. These movies are fun. Even though Ant-Man 2 was a dumpster fire as well. And don't even get me started on Thor 3. But the MCU, Kevin Feige, and whoever else is in charge of this bullshit, they're showing us that they are staying true to turning the MCU into something it's not. Turning all these comic book characters, these Marvel comic characters, these characters that we love and hold dearly to us and have been our entire lives, completely stripped from us. And being told that there's something else. Being told that there's someone else. And again, that's not even the bad part. The bad part is when you change all the dialogue. You change the story. You change all of this. We didn't get any kind of glimpse about Wanda and Vision having this kind of life. Nothing. Nothing. They lived together. They were fucking all the other shit, in Civil War and Endgame, or Civil War and Infinity War. But it wasn't this. It wasn't like, oh, haha, it's fun. Like, and I get that this is all in her head, but speed up the story. Speed it up. I don't want to get 6 or 7 episodes into a show for me to be interested. That's the whole reason of creating a show, is to get people looped in that first episode. Is to get people to say, oh my God, I love this character. There's this show on TNT. And I'm probably going to make a movie. I mean, not a movie. I'm probably going to make a video about this show at some point, whenever I get some time. But there's a show on TNT called Animal Kingdom. And I had never heard of it or anything like that. I'd never seen the movie that came out years ago or whatever. The Australian movie, whatever. But I was watching it one day years ago, when the first season came out. And I watched the first episode. And I said, oh my God, they got me in. They got me looped in. I knew nothing about the show, nothing. Was not interested in it. I was just chilling one day, just chilling on my phone. I think I was chilling at my parents' house at the time, whatever. This is years ago. And then, boom. I'm like, you know what? I really like the show. All right, I'm gonna come back next week and watch it again. I'm gonna tune back in at such and such time and watch it to continue the story, to continue feeding me that story and feeding me that entertainment, something that's gonna loop me in that first season. WandaVision has not done that, not even one bit. She gave birth to twins, and the twins are these future super. All right, cool. I pretty sure I saw that coming anyways when she said she was pregnant. Awesome. I mean, what happens when any mutant gets pregnant? They birth a mutant. So it's just going to be 2 more superheroes. Cool. I'm not shitting on that part or anything. It's just not that interesting. Holler at me in 15 years when they're older and they can actually be characters in the MCU, then yeah, cool. But I don't like the aspect of them trying to make this a sitcom-ish MCU show. Again, from what I said last week about this show, I like this show if it was just a normal sitcom show. It kind of wouldn't really make any sense, but actually it kind of would. And no, I'm not talking about if you're stoned or anything, because trust me, I know about that too. You get stoned, you watch some weird stuff, and you're like, I really like that show. But in all honesty, you have no idea what the fuck went on. This isn't one of those shows. This is something, I felt like if they did this as just a normal sitcom, it would be better. Rather than saying, this is the continuation of the MCU, because this now opens up the doors for everyone to come in. All these different kind of directors and producers come in and say, oh, we're going to do this way. We're going to have listen, they messed this up when Elizabeth Olsen had when she and Paul Bettany, what did they have, a duet or something? What was it? What is it, a duet? I can't remember whether they had a duet or not, but I know there was a small song in there. Of a little lullaby or song, right? And I thought to myself, this is another way for them to try and introduce musicals into the MCU. You think I'm playing? You think I'm joking? That's literally what's going to happen at this point. We're going to have Gwen Stacy, the musical. We're going to have the Wolverine movie, a comedy story. I mean, hell, they already brought back Captain America, Chris Evans. They're going to bring back Robert Downey Jr., I guarantee it. So now what? Now what? WandaVision has single-handedly destroyed the MCU. Facts. They have single-handedly destroyed the MCU. Because it's stuff like this. It's shows like this that just bumblefuck it up for everyone. We can no longer sit back and fall in love with these heroes anymore and think about the days of Spider-Man swinging around the city in New York, chilling, being that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. No, now he has to go off and fight off all of Iron Man's villains. We just found out the other day, Ant-Man going off to fight another one of Iron Man's villains, supposedly. It's like, man, when does this stop? You know what they say? They say, yeah, if it's nothing broke on it, if there's nothing wrong with it, then just maybe we should not try and fix it. So why? Why, Marvel? Especially when you have the most humble fans throughout the pandemic. Think about it. Warner Brothers has been a shit show. I mean, it's been a shit show longer than the pandemic. But during that pandemic, DC fans were wilding between the Snyder Cut and Wonder Woman 84 and all this other crap. And then, with fandom, all this other stuff. So, some of us in the DC community, in DC Comics community, very toxic. I hate using that word, but you guys know what I mean. Very toxic. Star Wars fans, even more toxic. But then you got the Marvel fans. You got the MCU fans. Now, some of us who were frustrated because there was no content. I was one of them. Frustrated there's no content when you can just clearly release it on Disney+. But we kept quiet. Now, some people you heard. But for the majority of the part, we kept quiet. Compared to DC and Star Wars, we are nowhere near as toxic as those fans. And I am a fan of both, but I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I'm a big DC and Marvel fan, yes. But both communities have to have their toxicity. But man, the toxic people need to come out for this. And I'm not saying like, oh, anybody needs to cancel or anything like that. Like, obviously, I'm not trying to incite anything or nothing stupid like that. Like anybody's coming for anybody's job or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is, we need more people out here saying, yo, this show is not as good as what they make it seem. This show sucks. This show is shit. And whoever wrote it should probably never step foot in another Marvel universe anything ever again. This is stupid. This show destroyed the MCU. Because now we're going to start, you put out shit product like this. Now again, I could be wrong. I said this last week when I gave my opinion. I said I could be wrong. And I said, let me wait until episode 3. If they continue to do this stupid Easter egg, in her mind bullshit in episode 3, I'm just going to come out and say that this show sucks. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Spoiler alert, this show sucks. Anyways, let me know what you all think. Let me know in the comments. Hit that like, subscribe, all that bullshit. But let me know, guys, because WandaVision is a huge dumpster fire. This show is not interesting to me at all. I thought it was supposed to be a continuation of the MCU, but Disney doing Disney things, just like when they told us about Mandalorian and said, there will be no Skywalkers in Mandalorian, and then you couldn't even wait until season 3 to put in Mandalorian. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we have been fooled again. We have been bamboozled by Disney and Marvel and Kevin Feige. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you all think about WandaVision? Do you all think that WandaVision is a dumpster fire? Or do you all think that WandaVision is the greatest show on earth that has ever been created? And that we will reap the benefits of waiting so long for an interesting storyline on a such shitty show. Anyway, guys, I am me. This is Half-Ass Podcast, and I am OUT.